Hey everybody, what's happening? My name's Joseph Jones. I am a full-time reseller. December marks almost the full year point of my journey on full-time reselling. Kind of wanted to give new sellers or even some experienced sellers that might be having some problems or just people who want general wisdom, some tips, some what I really learned in the first year was about five things that I really think is important that get a lot of new sellers hung up. And I really want to just touch on these real quick. Don't want to make this video super long. So what we're going to do is just go ahead and hop in. And I've got my notes here. I'm not going to pretend that I do this stuff by memory. And a little on my wheelhouse here, but I feel like a lot of this information is is good stuff, and I wish somebody would have said it to me and let me know so that I wouldn't have had to learn the hard way. But sometimes that's how you learn. You learn the hard way, and there's nothing wrong with that as long as you learn these lessons, because these are lessons that you will learn if you haven't already, and you should definitely give a lot of the things what I say right now some credence and respect if you haven't been doing these things already. And if you have and you haven't been doing them effectively, there's always a way to improve and get better. So, one of the major things that I needed to focus on was just buying better products. And I thought I was a lot the whole time. I'd follow the bolos that I heard on the YouTube videos. I would go out and buy these items, but it's a little bit deeper than a bolo. I'm sure everybody knows when you go to buy an item, size matters, the condition matters, all those things matter when you're pricing something, the style, um, the brand, all those things. I don't know if I said style twice, sorry about that, but all those things do matter, and they are important when you're buying products. You need to buy products that are going to move quickly. A lot of people want to move their products from between 30 and 90 days, from the start to finish. And that's only a small range of products that work like that. So, you want to find those products that are going to move quickly, that are of the quality that everybody wants, and that are profitable for you to find and source for easily, and that they're things that people actually just are really looking for and want. So I spent a lot of time going out buying things that I thought people wanted, and if I would have just looked a little bit deeper, did some more research, been a bit more patient, I would have saw that maybe the I would have been better off not purchasing, or purchasing at a later time for a smaller amount. Who knows? Just being patient. So the next thing is sourcing products cheaper. A lot of the times I'd find a product and I could have found that product or a similar product for much cheaper. I spent $4 or $5 on an item of clothing or a pair of shoes, and we're surrounded by thrift stores in our area and garage sales. And I know some of the most successful resellers, like the Rockstar Flipper, Rally Roots, they have a really low cost of sales per item. It's because they push for that. I think Casey's is something under a dollar, like 53 cents or something along those lines the last time I heard. That definitely could have changed. It changes at will, but I mean, he also tracks those numbers. So, there's garage sales are a great place for you to source cheaper. Goodwill outlets, the bins, Facebook garage sale groups have a lot of dollar or less places. Buying things wholesale, buying things in lots, looking online on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace, and buying lots of stuff just to get your cost of sales down per item. So those are all important. You need to source your products as cheaply as possible, because you never know when the next one's going to sell. You never know when you're going to make your next dime. So the cheaper the dimes that you put out, that's the cash that you have on hand, and the cash on hand that you have is what you pay your bills with. It's what your lifeblood. So it's important that you source products cheaply, because you're going to count on that later on to help you out when times are lean, or to help you get through. So definitely, source your products as cheaply as possible, and don't be lazy. Don't be satisfied commit to it that I'm only going to spend this much, so moving the products themselves faster, and that comes back to, buying better products, you need to not be satisfied. I mean, some people have money and they don't mind and they can wait on it forever. But for me, cash matters. If cash matters to you, which is like 95% of the people, then you definitely need to move products as fastly as possible, because every time you sell a product, that's profit that you put into you, and that helps run your business. You need those profits to get by. So find the products that move the quickest. And if you're not doing that right now, then take time and see what products you want. Instead of buying a wide range, buy a smaller range. Be more specific in what you want to buy. So that's really important for you when you're trying to get going and you have all this inventory and you want to buy more things and keep going, but you don't have a lot of cash on hand, so you can't buy the things that you want when you want to buy them because you're waiting for the other things to move, which aren't moving fast enough for your liking. So again, it just comes to those better products, sourcing them cheaper, moving them faster, and then don't put all your eggs in one basket. We started off just eBay, and I was in love with the fact that I could just work on one platform. And then, as you all know, eBay kind of took a turn for the worse this year. A bunch of glitches. There was weeks where we just were like crickets chirping for sales. The glitches, having to go through and relist stuff or fix things and spending hours on that, that just showed me that I needed to diversify, that I need to have more than one more platform, as many platforms as I can run and handle responsibly, and be able to and not be a train wreck, like they actually have, like, run platforms, adding one or two at a time, slowly, and having that ready to go before you, get those platforms up, having some sort of idea of what you're going to do. So diversify your platforms. If you have one platform, get to two to three, try, a lot of the most successful people I know are running on 6, 7, 8 platforms, do they spend the same time on all the platforms? No, but again, that's up to you. That's going to bring me to my next point. All right, is the last one, is have a plan from everything from A to B, If you're doing something that's business related, you should have a plan and an idea of what you're going to do before you do it. So, like where you source, when you source, what you source. My brother does clothing, and he sources every Wednesday for the most part. He's looking every Wednesday to shop, to grab, and he spends a certain amount, and it's based on his inventory, what he has, what he needs to sell. Sometimes he buys more, sometimes he buys less, but he has a plan for that. He also has a plan, for where and when he lists, what days he lists, what times he lists, how to process and track his inventory when he comes home. Him and the wife have it figured out how they're going to get this inventory brought in, figured out, processed, and then eventually listed, and then you need to know what platforms you really want to operate on, back to diversifying, but you really want to know, and don't be afraid to look back at those and with scrutiny and say, is this one working or is this one? And don't knee-jerk reaction either. Don't say I need to quit eBay because it's getting on my nerves. It's the second largest platform, If you're on eBay, you're on eBay probably for the most part, Have a budget, have a budget for your business. Have a spending plan. Have a spreadsheet. Have something that you can hold yourself accountable for. Make goals. Have a plan for everything. And if you don't, then start planning it out. Start it with small things. Start with a budget. Start with a basic plan for sourcing and processing inventory and listing inventory, those kind of things, the most basic things. Have a plan and system in place for those things, and your business will learn to count on them and thrive. So some of these things are common sense, but when you first start to get reselling, you're in love with the ideal of buying something and flipping it for a profit. You're like you're a treasure hunter. You're finding your treasures and you're trying to flip them for money or profit, and it's just a lot more complicated than just buying something and then, oh, well, it looks like this, on the comps, or it looks like this on what it's listed and the solds are different, or maybe it's a seasonal item. There's just so many things that go into that equation that it takes it takes a lot of time to figure that stuff out. But if I can impart a little wisdom to you guys along the way and save you a little bit of heartache, I made a lot of mistakes in the first year, and they weren't all a bad thing. Mistakes are ways to learn, and shouldn't always take them hard to heart. Like you should take them seriously. You should take them as an opportunity to get better, and to fix what is wrong or what was broken. So, thanks, guys. Like I said, five things that I learned. Just to hit back on them real quick was, buying better products, sourcing products more cheaply, moving your products faster, diversifying your platforms that you operate on, and have a plan for everything from A to B. All right, I hope you guys have a good day. I hope this helps. If you have any questions, you can leave them in the comments, and I'll try to get back to everyone. Thank you. You guys have a great one.